IVM.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative.
All right, we're live. We're already live. And this is a great occasion for me because it's my first live in my entire life, mind you, my entire life from a bar. Yeah, I don't know, it's just a little under 10 a.m. in the morning, but because of 1 year plus of Corona, it makes sense that you start your day at a bar. I'm at Angrezi Dhaba and Dadar, and it's great. Waiter, sabka do bag. I'm ordering myself a few rounds to drown feelings of when will this end. God, it's driving me mad. The WhatsApps have restarted in my building. Guys, I don't know what to do. I can't take it anymore. Please don't WhatsApp tragedy. Please don't do that. We all know it's tragic. We all know there's a surge. We all know they may lock down. So don't send me reminders of that. I'm not in a coma. Not yet, anyway. All right, it's a special episode because I'm in the middle of a very important shoot. I just don't want to brag, but we've got Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, and Amir Khan and Amitabh Bachchan all fought together with me in the lead. So it's a big production, as you can tell, and they're all. Mr. Bachchan, just give me 5 minutes. I'm online here live. The people just don't get it. So while they wait, we're trying to squeeze in a podcast because Amit Doshi says it is our duty and our birthright and we must have it, to quote a very famous freedom fighter. And please don't send letters of disapproval.
Whether you're an established sports person or a budding one, or simply a sports enthusiast, join us, Tanvi and Shlok.
We are two passionate pro badminton players talking policy, mindset, and everything sport.
So tune in to The Millennial Athlete every Monday.
Only on the IVM Podcast Network.
Trust us, it's gonna be lit.
All right, so we're doing what we call an EMA sort of special and a little bit of cock and bull. So this is a hybrid episode. Amit Doshi and Silvery are the only people who are willing to join me in a bar here early morning.
I would rather join you in the bar than sitting where I'm sitting right now.
Well, happy Holi, firstly, guys.
Yes,
I hope you had a
Holi.
great time doing sweet F all.
I actually had a great time doing Sweet Fall yesterday.
Yeah.
It was incredible. I did I actually did like a thing where I kind of shut my phone off for most of the day. So it was cool.
I did use some color early in the morning because we've got this close-up toothpaste, which is, I think, reddish, very deep red. So that was the closest I got to actually applying some color. I actually put some on my cheek for a second, nostalgic moment, and then forget it, back in the mouth. How the world has changed. When I initially in Malabar Hill, when I was just 10, I used to get scared and intimidated to go down because of the gangs and they all attack you and the small kids would get attacked. I mean, lovingly initially, but sometimes it was lovingly aggressive. And I think that's par for the course all across Mumbai, where the gangs would come and, you just be. But after some time, you get used to it, so not so intimidated. But all those feelings were in my head. I'm becoming the bullied to the bully, all that. And now nothing. Silvery, what about you? Missing?
Yeah, I had a just at home chilling. Pratilipi, the company we work for, they sent us
omnipotent force.
Yes, yeah, they sent us some very cool gulals that smell
Yes, they did.
incredible, by the way. That,
Oh, really? I didn't
yeah,
open them.
Yeah, I opened them because we just tikka and all with them at home.
I don't think it's reached South Mumbai yet. Because of the
No, I did get it, but I didn't open it because I did not know that there was something special about the smell. I just thought, oh, wow, lovely holy colors.
Yeah, they're like really good colors and they're all organic. At least that's what it says. But yeah, they smell incredible. Like, too good.
But Silvery, now that you mentioned gifts, Jehan's mom, Parveen, Jehan, who's come on the show about 2 weeks back, the prodigy who wrote his own music and the Queen band felicitated him and all that. Well, he sent me a lovely biscotti cake. I mean, I can't tell you how this is my favorite thing in the world. Biscuit, chocolate, caramel together, all in one. Oh, unbelievable.
What is it about biscuit and cake? Some of the best cakes have like the biscuit crust on it, right?
Yeah, and it's the right biscuit also. It can't be too much biscuit. It's just the right amount. But want to mention to all the guests who are going to come on the episode in the next 2 years, gifts are welcome. I mean, that would be a good way for us to stay in touch and for us to promote that particular episode and things like that. And if we go in numbers, they will be rewarded suitably. So what's a cake for something small between friends? Mr. Doshi, do you approve?
I do. Let's see. We've had Pooja Dhingra on as a guest. So, Pooja, we'd love to hear a gift from you. We've had Ranveer Brar as a guest.
Pressure.
But no, I'm just thinking of how many cook type people we had as guests, right? Or people who make these kinds of things, and I'm just trying to
They're
call them
called
out so that we can.
bakers, but yeah.
Well, yeah, bakers. Yeah, okay, bakers. Well, no, chef, bakers, cook. It's all of it,
But
right?
dessert, brother. We're discussing dessert. I don't want them to
Okay.
send me like sandwiches. With due respect.
Well, they all do stuff. Like Ranveer Brar has like a mithai shop, doesn't he?
That's true. That's true. But who says no to mithai? Come on. for God's
Yeah,
sake.
exactly.
Yeah.
And all of them, like Irfan Pavani, makes amazing desserts, right?
He also makes a great steak. Yeah, that's
makes-
above sandwich.
He makes a bunch of good things,
But
but he
this is
makes
not
great.
teaching me.
He can send us. He can send a steak also. That's fine. We wouldn't mind a steak, like a good steak.
A vegetarian steak, just to so everyone approves.
Okay.
Veg shashlik. What the hell was
Pita
this veg
friendly.
shashlik you boys brought up back in the day?
The steak
Absolutely
shashlik
get
that's a Kobe thing, no? Or is it like an everywhere thing?
Kobe. It was from Kobe for us, but we got to stop looking at our little world. I'm sure it's there everywhere else.
Well, like there was Kobe and there was Yoko's. There were two places that sold sizzlers. I mean, that was it back then.
Those were the glory days, Amit Doshi. Those days are gone. Halcyon days of our youth, gone forever. All right. So we get right into it. Do we have
Let's
any
do some questions. Yes.
What's the latest on the ship before we start? Now the ship has become a pet project.
Yeah, the ship has been set
it's
free.
out.
It's out.
It's out completely, or just they moved it 30 degrees?
They moved it. They are saying they have corrected its course by 80%. I don't know exactly what that means,
So that
but
means
it
that
is. Yeah, it is at least out of that region. It is now at a wider part of the canal where other ships can pass through also. So it's chill. But now they're saying the crew might face some legal troubles. This all the 25 Indian crew members might face some legal troubles.
So it's a
Not
bit
sure.
like COVID vaccine. The efficacy rate is 80% or something like that. And they're leaving it a little open. I like the fact that for insurance, you leave it a little open. Hopefully it's solved, but it may not be solved. Fair enough. Good enough for me. And the crew is to blame, more human factor than geographical issues.
No, they're not sure yet because they're still saying that it was caused due to a sudden sandstorm which threw it off course a bit, and that's why it got lodged in that part of the canal, and that's what they're saying right now. But again, we don't know how the crew will be affected because it's possible that both of them, there's human error and there's natural causes.
What you're saying is 26 Indians won't lose their lives, but they may lose their jobs.
I don't think they lose their jobs also. I mean, all 25 crew members.
Yeah, it's unlikely that they lose their, because again, it doesn't seem like it was that they didn't do an accident. They didn't like blow the ship up or or run it aground or something like that. There was something that happened, right? I mean, and maybe they might have been able to do better than what they did.
You're forgetting a very simple thing, which is if you even press, these are all mechanical and software oriented sort of situations. If you press one button, which is left instead of right, it just destroys the entire process. So it is possible. It is possible that you went for the wrong one. I'm a left-right guy, issue guy. Are you a left-right issue guy? For a second, it's just a simple thing between in, out, left, right, on, off. These are 50% chance of getting it right. But if you're not sure, boom.
Yeah. What was your question about that?
No, my question is there must be a small element of human error. Even if it just
There
means
always
that you
can
press
be.
red button instead of green somewhere down the line.
But there always can be. But then again, with a system this complex, there could be computer error as well. There could be, system issues. There could be a lot of different things that could have happened, right? Until they
You got to see
really
the
kind of
CC
dig
camera
into it.
footage of the vessel, of the on-board vessel. I need to see everything. What were the Indians doing? Were they fooling around? Were they watching porn? Were they talking to their relatives? Were they on Insta? Were they taking selfies? All these crimes, many crimes are possible. And because of that, already through a long route, we can see that there's some negligence of some sort. In which case, they will lose their jobs.
So most people in the merchant navies are in their 20s. I find it hard to believe that there are 25, 20-year-olds in a ship going through the Suez Canal and nobody's on Instagram. I find that impossible to believe.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, anyway, worst case scenario, we'll get them on the podcast. Okay,
We should
so
try.
listen, yeah, and you don't have to get gifts, or maybe you can. Depends on your situation. Keep your job, you get a gift. No job, no gift. Fair enough. Let's proceed with the AMAs in this shortened version of whatever the show's called.
Yes, sure. Should we explain right now why we're doing it a little early today, or should we wait till 10?
Well, let's wait till 10.
Yes, please.
Okay, sure. So let's start with the AMAs. First AMA comes in from Siddharth Bishnu. He says, "What new vehicle would you like to see stuck and where?" That's hilarious.
What?
He just wants to know, like, if a vehicle was to be stuck somewhere, where would you like to see it be stuck?
I have a huge hatred, for other than motorbikes, for trucks. This is another group of people I don't like at all. I find as a driver, self-driver, if you're stuck behind a truck, it's like one of the most painful experiences. I would use this as an interrogation technique for terrorists or gangsters or whatever, because it is so painful. You just can't focus on anything else but to try and get ahead. And if you don't get ahead, you can see your life being sucked dry. So trucks, and I'll give you the reason, the capacity of the trucks, the Ashok Leyland trucks and all the old trucks, which are still on the road, is not good enough for the 21st century by far. They weren't good enough for the 20th century. Probably when cars were just invented, they were on par. So it makes no sense to me why they're there, because even the smallest Maruti's capacity and speed and the way they can go into fourth in 20 seconds, but this guy can't match up. So if you're driving in a highway or you're driving on certain roads in Mumbai, they just clog it completely. So I would like to see trucks stuck and suffer. I don't mind them suffering a little bit. What's the word that rhymes with truck? That's right. Luck.
Stuck.
Buck,
And
like buck up.
duck. Let's just do the rest of the podcast
Luck.
on words that rhyme with truck.
Good luck.
Pluck.
Suck.
Buck.
Nick. No, not Nick.
No, not Nick. Nick is too far.
He's coming from their side. So I'd like a truck. What about you guys? Which vehicle? would you like to start?
Let me pose a theoretical thought experiment to you. Okay, there is a huge parking lot. Okay, there are two huge parking lots. One is full of trucks. One is full of bikes, motorcycles. Okay, both of them would impact the Bombay traffic to the point where 25% reduction would happen. Okay, and you could basically get stuck in front of one of them so that none of them could come out. Which one would you pick?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I may go for the bikes, because possibly I have more confrontation with bikers than I have with trucks. The routes that I take are not so truck laden. Yeah.
What if there?
not so truck laden? So I think I'd go for the bikers because they.
What if there was a parking lot with auto rickshaws as well?
But again, not hate them. Absolutely hate them. There's no question that there's no humanitarian effort to save them ever in my life. But again, the people I'm going to tangle with all the time, it's like you don't get along with Russia, but you tangle with Pakistan more. So you focus more on them. It's more that. But I hate them all. You're right. In terms of secularism, I hate them all. The rickshaw guys, I just did Mud Island twice last week. Oh, please. I mean, the way they just jump out and they test their reflexes. And they don't even look left or right. They just continue like it's normal. They are the cockroaches of the suburbs. There's no question about that. Yeah.
What
very
about
painful.
What about a lot of chauffeur-driven Mercedes and Audis?
No, I'm more angry with the name subs. Because what happens is they stop the car wherever they want to. That's the problem. The driver is helpless ultimately, even if he wants
Well,
to.
no,
not
I
do
don't
that.
blame the driver. I'm just saying that this would affect the traffic, right? It's not a question of who you blame there. You can blame the boss, you can blame the driver. I mostly agree with you. I blame the boss for the most part, right? But if chauffeur-driven Mercedes, BMWs, Audis, and such cars would also disappear, which would have the maximum impact on traffic in our city?
That's a tough one because more than the sedans, these saloons, whatever you call the longer cars, they're not quite limousines. They're all troublesome at some point, but it's more the driver than the car in those situations. In the truck, the capacity of the truck is such that no driver can help it. They can't go any faster. They can't accelerate. God forbid it's uphill. You're finished.
Yeah.
Imagine Manik Slope. Yeah. Okay, Manik Slope where we live. If suddenly you're behind a truck, you actually start writing your will. How many times they roll back down?
How many times do I see that and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go from here. I'll go from here. I mean, I just make that choice as soon as I see a truck.
You hit the nail on the head. The real thing is your heart is in your mouth when you see them. It's almost like, I don't know how to explain to you. You see it and there's a whole set of emotions that happen. It may be a prejudice of sorts, but at the end of the day, the scorecard is terrible with trucks. Really, trucks.
Why are trucks so bad though? Why do we have these Horn OK Police trucks? I mean,
because
why are they so
we've
bad?
not moved on. Horn OK has to get out now. This is a pace.
But so many cars are advancing, motorcycles are advancing. I mean, every form of transportation is advancing, but it feels like trucks are still the same kind of.
Tesla's coming out with those smart trucks, right? The electric.
But those
trucks.
are pickups, no? Those are individual.
No,
trucks.
they're coming out with bigger versions also, like full.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like how Mercedes has those big trucks.
Delivery.
Like even Tesla will have.
What's going to happen to the truck lobby? They're going to just drop the Ashok Leyland trucks. Are you mad?
That's true.
They've got to complete 200 years.
Yeah,
200 years of the same truck. Really. I'm convinced there's no way out. We need to have another lane for trucks, but we don't have enough space. So what do we do? But kill the bikers. Bikers are the worst. There's nothing worse than a biker. And a biker delivery guy, I know Zomato case went in his favor at the moment from what we gather. But come on, those guys they're just Death Wish 1, Death Wish 2. And in my lane, they come up the one way, one after another at full pace. And you're thinking, there's going to be a percentile. How many of them survive? 63% die by the 3 years into the business. It's ridiculous. Silvery, if your career and my career go down the tube, we will not resort to this. We'll take Ubers, we'll become Uber drivers, but we'll never become Scootsie delivery boys. Okay, promise me that. Swear to me that.
Pakka. I hate Scootsie anyway. I'm just joking. I don't mind Scootsie. But
You don't like
there are
the
some.
brand.
How can you hate Scootsie, man? Or
No,
Swiggy?
it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, it's
They're like it's like saying I hate electricity.
Yeah. So Swiggy or Zomato, what do you prefer? Do you have a preference?
You're not understanding. Here's the opposite. We like the destination, not the journey. Everywhere they tell you it's the journey, not the destination. We're the destination. Deliver the food, but we don't want to ever be part of that journey. How that food came, how many people got hit, how many. Oh God, no. Oof.
There are some great answers in the chat about this.
Yeah.
New kid says, I want to see a Hummer stuck in a Mumbai pothole, which is that would be pretty great. Another one.
Don't you feel it's a little stupid sometimes when you get an SUV like a big Prado or Land Cruiser or whatever, and you seriously just moved from Nariman Point to Malwa Hill? I mean, really, what's the point of that? It goes nowhere. It's like a tank and everybody scratches it. It's just a waste of time because, again, the capacity of our roads are not enough for those semis and those huge SUV type of GP type of cars. Pointless. It's okay in the north somewhere they've got bigger roads and I can understand because you can get to drive through the fields of Haryana and beyond with big roads. What are you going to do here?
No, so
Powai is not bad. If you stay in Powai, not bad. But I'm saying exit Powai and see what happens.
So I understand the appeal of an SUV in some sense, right? But not like a Hummer style one, right? I understand the appeal of basically the appeal of a car which you step into or step onto rather than step down into, right? I do understand the appeal of that, right? I mean, like I would much rather step up into a car than step down into a car.
But you just need to have a valet with you who carries a patla. And whatever. Which
No, but the car is
doable,
low, no? The car is still low.
But if you want to go high to low, the patla allows you high to low. If you want to go low to high, the patla allows you low to high exit as well.
Sure, okay. I guess.
I mean, India is all about psycho fancy. Always have chamchas. You have to succeed, do well, so that we have 3-4 guys around us who make our lives better.
That is true. I do need a chamcha. Applications open. Please send me an email. I will hire.
All right. I would like to take that job myself, but right now I'm stuck in the other. Should we take a quick break as we cross 10 o'clock?
It's 10 o'clock, and then, yes, we come back, and yes, let's do
and
that.
Now we are live. Quick break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week, Siet Tires and the Whole Truth Foods. We really appreciate the support. So this week, tune into This Round is on Me with Gauri Devidayal. She invited Sonal Holland, India's only master of wine, and they discussed the goodness and business of wine, the pros and cons of being women in the hospitality business, and motherhood. On The Traveling Professor, Siddharth Deshmukh looks at evolution of search and wonders how voice search might change things yet again. On Advertising is Dead, Varun Dugirala featured Anirudh Singla of Pepper Content. He shared his perspective on the term content and how he sees it going forward. On Storytellers and Storysellers, Vinny spoke to Ayushman Sinha, head of Represent, a music talent management agency. He spoke about life as a manager and about nurturing new talent and paving a progressive career path for them. On Cyrus Says, we had entrepreneur, businesswoman, and Ruckus Avenue radio host Alexandra Masur. They discussed ethnicity, life as Desi American, Seema Auntie's matchmaking show, and a lot of other fun stuff. Also, IVM has an hour every Sunday on the Ruckus Avenue Radio Network, a US-based radio station that caters to the South Asian community. It's available on Dash Radio, and you can catch the episodes on the IVM Likes feed every Monday. On The Habit Coach with Ashton Doctor, Ashton asks us to commit to sleep and prioritize it over every party, work deadline, or binge watch session, as it is a crucial time when the body slows down for maintenance and recovery. And with that, let's get you back to your show.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored, I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me.
EMAs.
Okay.
Where were we?
So, Cyrus, first, it's 10 now. Can we explain why we're doing it early today and where you're sitting? Because someone has asked, Cyrus, what dhaba is this?
Okay, it's called Angrezi Dhaba. You take my friend Kunal Vizikar's name, you get 10% off. And at the moment, the bar is not open, but we are opening it because we're shooting something. But just outside as we entered about an hour back, and they had this, I don't know if you guys are aware, so now they're going to do these tests. Once the adhering to the timings, of course, which are some 11:30 in the morning to 11:45 in the morning or whatever it is. But they're going to test you as you enter restaurants, bars, and dhabas. So there's a whole setup there with a big thing. It's not that this thing test. I think it's a proper COVID test, which I don't understand because how will you get the result, etc., etc. But
Yeah,
whatever.
result will take a day, no? It takes like 6 hours to get the test result back.
So you can't go to the mall, you can't enter the bar after you do the test for 6 hours. Or is it an antigen test? You got to investigate this. They were setting up and I didn't want to disturb them. Yeah. Because I had forgotten my mask anyway and I had to find one. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's not that I'm that bad. I do have this mask, which I call the nurse Braganza mask. If you're in surgery for piles like I have been in the past, this is what they wear when they turn you over, shave you from the lower back to your knees, and then, ladies and gentlemen, perform that surgery to remove a ball-like substance from the behind part of your groin. How did you get there? Don't ask me. EMAs.
Okay. Next one comes in from Prashant Rao. He says, Cyrus, what is the best part of a morning bathroom routine for you?
Did you say bathroom routine?
Yeah, bathroom routine, morning bathroom routine.
Okay, so I'm one of those guys who doesn't spend a lot of time in the bathroom. I'm almost like an officer in the army in that sense, and that's where it ends. I'm in like 7-8 minutes and I'm out fast. I don't take too long. I have a patience problem. I very often don't use soap because it takes too long to take off. I always come out wet because I can't towel off long enough. And in the Bombay Gym, I hold the record for the fastest full shower with soap. Okay, it's the world record, by the way, folks. Some music, please. 17 seconds. 17 seconds. A guy called Mufi came second at 24 seconds. So there's a huge gap between the world champion and the second guy.
What is the criteria under which it was decided that you accomplished a full shower in
People are
17
watching
seconds?
the shower. It's a full shower. You enter completely naked, starters. These are all hetero men, by the way. And we've got the liquid soap thing, which of course is a little faster. So you have a full shower. Shower's on. Okay, so start the clock. You enter, shower's on, and pump it, back, this, that, the other, and out. I do the whole body, 17 seconds. It's a pleasure. People watching it are just, it's like poetry in motion. People just come back, their lives have changed. Like watching, Sachin Tendulkar score double century at the MCG or something. It's huge. It's huge, to quote Donald Trump. But I'm very proud of those records because I save a lot of time in the bathroom. Yeah, often I don't think I clean myself properly also. I'm in such a hurry to go. I have that hurry gene problem. Wherever I go, I want to go to the next place. Like I'm done with this podcast. I want to start the shoot now. It's like that. Once I'm there, I'm done with that. I want to go back to the dogs.
I think I've understood what the problem is here. Cyrus, I think that I've understood what the problem is. You are not great with technology, right? That's why you don't take your phone into the washroom with you. Because I do that. Amit, do you also take your phone into the washroom?
I've taken the phone and dropped it in the pot twice.
Twice?
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, you're really
Yeah,
bad at technology, Cyrus.
My hands, I don't know. I don't know what happens. I'm a clumsy guy. And the first time I didn't tell anyone, because I was so ashamed. And my daughter's so disapproving and she has so little respect left for me. And I don't know what would have happened because they bought the phone. She bought the phone, my money. But she went and did all that. So I don't want to, ever do anything.
The new phone you dropped in the pot.
The new phone.
Oh, God.
One was in the plane. The toilet in the plane.
At least that doesn't have real water in it.
No, but listen, when the plane shakes a little bit and you're holding a phone and trying to pee, because you don't want to leave it in COVID times anywhere. You know what I mean? You don't drop it somewhere. But why was it not in the pocket? That I kind of, it was in my hand. And I'm peeing, and then the shake happens, the turbulence, boom, boom, boom. Phone is in. And it would have gone all the way down. I caught it so fast, you have no idea. Because in a few seconds, the phone would be in, I don't know, Ajmer.
Did it sit in the urine?
It bounced on the steel part rim, and I caught it as it fell into the watery part.
Not too bad.
But in my house, it fell into the pot, and I had to put my hand into the pot, which was already filled with other things, and take out the phone. There was no option. I had to face my daughter, but then I had to clean the phone.
Yeah.
But it worked. It worked. Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. So toilet's not been I've not had my best moments in the toilet. And now it takes me hours to pee, so you can imagine. That's the only thing that takes time.
Yeah, so now you get traumatized and then have to leave the toilet in like 17 seconds now. The washroom.
I'm sure there are enough people who drop the phones in the toilet. I cannot believe you dropped the phone.
I've
You dropped it?
I've dropped it in the bathroom, but I've not dropped it in the toilet.
Yeah, I dropped it in the
Bathroom
bathroom.
doesn't count. That's just like dropping it.
But I broke my phone not last time, but a few years ago. This was like one of my worst nights ever. I had gone to play poker at a friend's place. It was his birthday at his house. I have a rule when I'm playing poker that I will lose 2 banks and then I will get up. Now, the thing is, I lost my 2 banks in about 40 minutes. And it's this guy's birthday and I've gone to his house. So I can't get up. I have to keep playing. I lose another 2 banks, right? Then I'm like, finally, okay, dude, 4 banks. This is twice my limit. I gotta end now. And so I get up from his house. It's not the normal house we play at. So he has a tiny table. Normally, otherwise, if you get up and go to the bathroom, you leave the phone on the table only. It's a tiny table. I take the phone with me because the table is so small. Go to the bathroom. As I go to the bathroom, I put the phone on my, like I'm about to put it in my shirt pocket. And it slips. It doesn't go into the pocket. It just slips down.
Oh, okay.
Falls straight on the marble floor. Crack. Gone.
Oh,
Google Pixel.
oh man.
Yeah, but coming back to the problem with the when you're on the pot, it's a different story altogether. It all depends on how much width your thighs have. Okay, if your thighs shut properly, it'll perform an insurance for the falling phone. But if
No,
your
but dude,
thighs have a gap,
wait. Your phone fell in the pot when you were sitting on the pot.
yeah, that's why I don't take it in again. He was talking about taking it in, so I was listening to it without earphones,
Ah.
but I was holding it like this, not like that, right in front of me, as it is convenient, and then it just dropped. It was a Joe Rogan podcast, by the way. I'll even
Right.
tell you who was on it. That British comic. British
Unforgettable.
comic who's slightly effeminate, but
Russell Brand.
sex
Russell
mani-
Brand.
Russell Brand,
Hmm.
Oh,
the
that's
sex
not
maniac.
bad.
Yeah. It was very interesting. I don't know what happened in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah, that's man. Wow. Okay, that sucks.
Yeah.
Actually, you gotta-
Yeah.
But also, like, dude, when I'm sitting on the pot, I don't think there's enough space. I think my legs are very fat. I don't think there's
That's
enough
what I'm
space
saying.
for.
You got to have fat thighs, or you got to bring them closer in. I do a very wide squat because that's the way I squat actually, so I leave a gap. So there's no pain on my knees with my toes pointing out. I'm very health conscious in that sense. So I don't want more pain as I age. So I sit like that. There's a huge V gap, a reverse V gap there. And that's where it went. And if it wasn't my daughter's phone in a sense, I would have just let it go. It was shitty. But I took it out. I thought, what if she hears this podcast? Silvery, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Stop this podcast. And India, what the hell's wrong with us? Somebody,
Okay,
some
okay.
friend will hear it, or parent or something. God, no, please. It's all a lie. I just made this up to pass time because I have to go back and shoot in 3 minutes. Okay, next one. Next question,
Yeah.
quick.
Yep. This one comes in from Harvesh Kasad again. Hey, Harvesh. He says, hey, all. Cyrus, with Shreyas Iyer out of the IPL, who do you think should captain DC? Should it be Rahane or Ashwin?
They don't want Steve Smith because they don't think he'll play in the 11 every time. And also, he may not play the entire IPL. Secondly, I think between Ashwin and Rahane has proven himself in Test cricket. But for T20, I think Ashwin is really underrated as a captain. I know he skippered Punjab and something else before that. But I would go with Ashwin for T20 over Rahane. And I've just been given a warning for starting the shoot. So quickly, last question.
Yeah.
Okay. This one comes from Sachin Yaligar, again a cricket one. He says, hey Cyrus, big fan of the show. I have a question regarding the frequency of cricket happening nowadays. Don't you think increased frequency is killing interest?
What's wrong with you? Yesterday, there was no cricket anywhere in the world. My mother and I were so bored, we started talking to each other. I don't want that to happen ever again. No. There's no such thing as too much cricket, too much sex, or too much fun. All bullshit. Trust me, when you find the thing not happening in your life, any of these three things, you realize that you should have banked all that. Because there's always a barren area that's going to follow. Listen, Silvery and Amit, I'm going to apologize and pull out. But you guys can continue for 5 minutes. You have my permission to use my name. Because
Sure.
there are more AMA questions.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Sure.
We'll call ourselves Cyrus. I'm sure people will believe us.
Yeah.
I'm passing on the baton. You are now Cyrus Amit, and you are now Says.
Yeah.
Mr. Antarish Silvery. All right. But tomorrow it'll be a full 1 hour. Don't worry. We are back in the saddle. This will happen very rarely that we have to abort. But to save and for the greater good, we are moving forward. So I'm saying bye, but the show will still carry on till 12. All right.
Yep.
Well,
Bye,
not till
Cyrus.
12,
Have a
but
nice
for few
shoot.
more minutes.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye. See ya.
So the next question comes in for Amit from Harvesh again. He says, what is your take on Diamond Green comments last week that he is the best defender of all time in the NBA? I mean, he is
Draymond
not even
Green.
the best of his era.
He is
Draymond
not.
Green.
He's not the best of it. It's Draymond Green. He's not the best of his era. He's not the best of any era. He's not the best of. I mean, like the guy can speak well, but he's gotten increasingly delusional. He's basically auditioning for a spot on Inside the NBA. That's what it feels like to me at this point in time.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, he's not the best. Ben Simmons is the best right now. Rudy Gobert is the best right now. Joel Embiid is the best right now. These guys are all better than Draymond Green is. Draymond Green might have been the best player, the best defensive player for in 2016 for a
Okay.
year.
Oh,
Other
that's
than
it.
that, That's
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
Next one comes in from Tarun Kaushik. He says, hey, Cyrus and team. Talking of automobiles, which is the most expensive car / bike you have driven / been in or driven on? Yeah. So.
I've been in a Bentley once. It's not
Wow.
mine, obviously. But I've sat in a Bentley once. So I guess that's the most expensive car I've ever been in. The most expensive one I've ever driven is, I don't know, probably a, what is the Audi SUV A6? I think it is the
No,
Audi A6 SUV.
I've been in an A6. I think that's probably the most expensive one. I've driven an Mercedes E220. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, because my family has one. So
Ah, okay. So then there you go. That explains that.
yeah. So next one comes in from
Oh,
that
no, but
question.
yeah, Sachin Yalga is asking another question, which I think is interesting. What do you think about NFTs? Do you know anything about NFTs,
Just
Dish?
non-fungible tokens. I know that that's what it's called.
Fungible.
Fungible. Okay. And what my understanding is that it's just replicating art. So it's like you can sell art and be the only one who has that original piece of art, and that has some kind of value. That's
It's
all I
digital
understand
art.
of.
It's a digital
Yeah.
collectible. So basically, the idea behind it is that in the digital world, everything is infinitely replicable, right? I mean, like you
Yeah.
can make, you have an image, you take a picture of me, you can make 400 copies of it yourself and send it to whoever, right?
Correct.
It's why the Pirate Bay and all these places kind of function the way they do. What an NFT does is it gives you a certificate of authenticity for a particular piece of digital media. So it can become collectible in that sense. This is not for broad-based distribution, but more for
Mm.
collectibles and that kind of things, right? So like some things that are becoming popular from an NFT perspective is like a image of Jack Dorsey's first tweet. That thing sold for like a crazy
Yeah.
amount of
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a piece of art that was done by I think Banksy or one of these like big graffiti artists. The NBA has been doing a lot of NFT tokens of highlights of
Do these
various
things
players.
do these things increase with value over time, or
Well, so what is interesting is that, and this might be a really kind of overly complex question to the answer, but what is happening is right now that in most of the world, interest rates are essentially zero. Okay, so if
okay?
you're, this is not true in India. In India, we have like a 6, 7, 8% interest rate, but in most of the developed world, interest rates are essentially zero, right? So you have 100. Let's say you make $150,000 a year, so you're reasonably well to do professional in the U.S. You're saving 40,000, $50,000 out of that, right? If you're saving 40, $50,000 a year and there is no interest being gained on it, it's just sitting in the bank. What's it doing? So you have to invest it. So, what are the asset classes that you can use to invest this kind of money? Right? You can do mutual funds and stocks and those kinds of things. But, I mean, like the fact of the matter is that you can make decent money with mutual funds, but you're never going to make huge money because, I mean, like, dude, the stock market's played by people who know what they're doing. Right?
Yeah.
Uh, what are the other asset classes you can look at? And one that has typically paid off really well over the years is art. Art in a
Mm.
digital world does not exist. So an NFT acts as a way to kind of create art with a restricted supply or with an authenticity, right?
Oh,
The
wow.
way, how you
Yeah.
authenticate art, right? Same way
Correct.
you're
Correct.
authenticating the NFT. So you're creating a collectible through NFT. So it's some sort of scarcity which is created technologically. But so it's a really interesting concept. I think that
Yeah.
there's something
Wow.
really interesting there. Does it have intrinsic value? No, it doesn't have intrinsic value. But at the same time, neither does a Birkin bag or neither does, I mean, like a baseball card which sells for $1 million or a stamp that sells for like, or a
Mm.
coin or one of these ancient things. None of these collectibles have intrinsic value,
But
but they have societal value.
is there any way to tell whether this will last for a while, or this is just like a fad that go on for like this year and be done with it?
Well, I think they will. So, you know what? Here's the thing, right? I don't know if they stay in this form, but I think something like this will be there, right? Because I mean, like as society, we like to be collectors. It is an impulse that we have. I want to create a collection of things. Now, I was going through my collection of movies yesterday, acquired through dubious sources, and I have 150 movies,
Hey, wow.
right? But
Yeah.
that's not, I mean, like they have no value,
Correct.
right? But if I had 150 DVDs, right?
Mm.
Would I have considered there to be some value in that? Yeah, I would have considered there to be some value in 150 DVDs that I had, right? Because they're like physical objects with like, artwork and things like that, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So how do you replicate that? And what's the difference? It's the movie. At the end
Yeah.
of it,
Correct.
there
Correct.
is no difference between Ferris Bueller's Day Off acquired from weird places and Ferris Bueller's Day Off ka DVD. It's the same
Correct.
movie you're watching essentially, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what makes one feel better than the other? What gives one more value in my mind than the other, or any collector's mind? I think that is so. I think that there is a long-term form to this, but I think the thing with all blockchain things right now is it's so early in this space that we don't know if this is the form that it's all going to take, right? Whether that's Bitcoin, whether that's Ethereum, whether that is NFTs, whether whatever any kind of blockchain technology is, we're still very early in that technological cycle. So I mean, like, will this be the final uh, view of it? Who knows?
I remember we were IVM was working with Accenture for a while for one of our shows, Tech Careers
Mhm.
in the New, and they used to talk a lot about blockchains on episodes that they had on Tech Careers in the New.
Right.
And I had no idea that blockchains would come out to be this important to regular folks like us as well. Like,
It's an open form of technology which becomes secure in its openness, which is the key concept, right? Security through publication, or they have a real term for it, which I can't remember right now.
okay,
But
okay.
basically, by making you're making things secure by making things available to everybody to check, which is
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah. All right. Let's go on to the next one. Next one comes
Let's
in
go on.
from Rohin Dadina. He says, "Hello all. When will we be able to see more free-flowing, long conversation podcasts like GRE? Looking forward for the same." So, do
We
you
already
think?
have a lot.
Yeah.
Isn't that? I mean, like that's a big chunk of what you get on IBM's catalog, just generally, isn't it?
Yeah. Mostly just long form conversation. Correct.
Yeah, we do mostly long form. We have some shorter ones, but mostly it's long form conversation.
Yep. So, would you like to recommend some? Please check out one of my favorites is Uncle Please Sit that I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah.
Please go check that one out.
No, Uncle Blizzard is great. Varun had a great one yesterday with Anirudh Singla from Pepper Content. It came out last week, sorry. Very interesting conversation over there. The conversation that we had on Shunya 1 was really interesting as well with
Yep.
Prashant. Then what else was there?
And the Wire Talks
Wire Talks are always
is
great, so
is
that
always
part, yeah.
great. Yep. Every single episode.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a little shorter. That one actually is a little bit shorter.
Yeah, that's true. It's about 35 to 40
Hmm.
minutes. True. All right. Next one comes in from Siddharth Dabowale. He
Okay.
says, if you bought a Tesla car in 2012 for $77K, which would be $40K today, but if you owned $77K of Tesla stock, you would have $7 million today. Which type of person are you? Materialistic versus investment minded?
I don't know. I think it varies, right, depending
Yeah.
on the specifics of the matter, right? I mean, I mean, like, there's the same thing with Apple, right? I mean, like, I bought a $2,500 Apple computer in 1995,
Hmm.
right? This was my second last year of college. It's a $2,500 computer at that point in time. If I had put that same money in Apple stock in 1995, it would be worth tens of millions of dollars today, right? So
Yeah.
but I mean, like, I needed the computer at the time.
That's true.
I think to kind of conflate consumption behaviors with investment behaviors is unfair on the consumption side of things.
Okay. Yeah. But if given the choice today, what would you prefer?
Would I buy a Tesla or would I invest in Tesla stock?
Yeah.
Is that the question? I don't know. I think I would probably. Well, I am looking to buy a car, so I guess I would buy a Tesla because I'm
That's
looking to buy a car right now. Right?
Okay.
If I wasn't looking to buy a car, then I'd probably invest in the stock. Again, it's, these are two different things, right? I mean, like, the impulses would be significantly different. It's like, see, the thing is that when you make an investment, when you're buying something to use it right now, right? You have some consumption in mind. But if you're investing, you're just investing.
Yep. Fine. Next one comes in from Tarun Kaushik. He says, "Hey Amit and slavery." Wow, you called me
Slavery, nice.
Yeah. Hey Amit and slavery. Do you feel spending a lot on non-growing investments like phones/cars, etc., is of little advantage and a result of social vanity? Okay,
I
that
think
looks like
that's
a
harsh.
reply to the previous.
Yeah, I know that's harsh
answer.
though. I mean, like, social man. No, man, people like nice things. I
Yeah,
mean, like,
people
why
like
do you
that.
save and why do you invest? You save and you invest because you want nice things. Now,
Yeah.
different people's definition of nice things are different, right? And we all judge each other whether we say we do or not based on what other people like, right? I mean, like, but I mean, like, I have this conversation with friends often. Most of my friends are iPhone people. And I'm just like, I can't see spending that kind of money on a phone. I just can't see it
Yep.
because everything I want from a phone, I get from a 30,000 rupee phone.
Yep.
Right. I have the OnePlus Nord, which is what I'm using right now. I'm quite happy with it. Right.
Yeah,
The other thing is that if my OnePlus Nord conks off in like a year, I don't feel awful. Right. Whereas if my iPhone didn't work for 2 years, 3 years, I would feel horrendous at the end of it. So, I mean, like, the thing is, but at the same time, for the friends who use the iPhone, right, for them, it's like, dude, this thing makes my life so awesome. I love it. right? So again, I think to conflate consumption and investment behavior or income, right? Which you do for these things, right? Because again, you see, here's the thing. Okay, this is I haven't done this in life, but
Yeah.
most of our listeners are younger. So my general suggestion is save money, right? You should save some money every time, and that money should be saved as investment. Don't just save the money and put all of it in the bank account. Put some degree of it to the bank account. But let's say you're making a certain amount of money. Once you get past like 3 months worth of income in the bank account, start investing in other things, right? Put some money in stocks, put some money in mutual funds, put some money in there are so many different kinds of debt instruments available, but you should always be investing stuff.
Do you remember your first investment? Like the first investment you ever made?
uh, the first investment I ever made.
Was it in
Good question.
stocks? Was it in property
It
or
was
something?
stocks. It was stocks. I'm trying to remember which one it was. I come from a stockbroker family, no? So I mean,
Okay.
like, I started doing stock market stuff and like when I was 18 years old.
Oh wow.
But I didn't really do it for investment. I did it as gambling,
Okay.
which is a whole different kind of behavior. Basically, you used to get these tips. I've heard that HDFC is going to go double in like a month. Yeah, you must buy now.
Okay.
So I mean, like, it was that kind of thing. So I wouldn't even call that investment, right? I would say like my first real investments probably were in there's a stock called Finolex Pipes. This was probably around 2000 or something like that when I heard that they were getting into the fiber optic business, and I was like, this is interesting.
Wow.
It hasn't really turned into much of a huge this, but it's what I did at the time. So that's one that I looked at.
Okay. Very cool. This one is interesting. John Talks asks, Amit, who are your thought gurus? Some people you like listening and learning from. Is Jordan Peterson by chance one of them?
I like listening to Jordan Peterson every once in a while, but the guy is super smart, but he also has some extraordinarily repugnant ideas.
Mm.
So he's not somebody. So this is my thing, right? I've always had a. Well, this is turning into an Amit Doshi MA, isn't it? I've always had a feeling around this stuff, right? That don't substitute other people's judgment for your own. So you should absorb ideas from people and try and kind of understand where they're coming from with those ideas. And some of those ideas you'll buy, and some of them you won't, right? Just because some dude's got a Harvard degree and a doctorate or whatever doesn't mean that I have to substitute his judgment for myself. I
Yeah.
still, I mean, like, I might have gone to a shittier college than he did, but I think of myself as somebody who's a thinking person. So, if somebody has a theory, I'd like to look at it, evaluate it, and make a decision based on that.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, but if they were asking for like, people who I like listening to and trying to kind of like this, so Ben Thompson, who writes the blog Stratechery, is somebody who I deeply admire from a technical analysis perspective. He really, really kind of he analyzes business models in the media and the internet kind of space. And again, that's my space, right? Media and internet.
yeah.
And so he analyzes business models and stuff like that on that at a level which is, in my mind, just incredible. So he's somebody who I read very, very regularly.
What about some of these modern, what do you call, like inspirers,
I,
motivators,
I
like
I
Gary
don't get into
Vee?
that. I
No,
don't
not
get into that stuff. I'm not built in a way which that stuff really works for.
okay. Fair enough. That's totally fair.
The whole Gary Vee, Tim Ferriss,
Yeah, yeah,
that whole area.
yeah.
Yeah, listen, they do good stuff. I've heard all of them. I listen to their episodes every now and then when they have an interesting guest. But yeah, I'm not big on the hustle culture in that sense.
What do you
Yeah,
think of people like Sam Harris or Ben Shapiro? I
I
know they're
think
very
Sam's.
different,
So I
but
think Sam Harris is really smart. I really enjoy what he has to say for the most part.
yeah, yeah.
Ben Shapiro is interesting. I agree with about 30% of what he has to say. I
Mhm.
think 70% of what he's doing is troll bait.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But I feel like about there is a mind over there. And there's he often does say stuff. See, this is the reason why people like Ben Shapiro honestly are the most dangerous kinds of people, because they're not Alex Jones, right? They're not like these kinds of fringy kind of people who are making all kinds of crazy ass statements, right?
Yeah.
Those people are not very dangerous, to be honest with you, right? I mean, like, as irritating as they are, they're not dangerous. The dangerous people are the ones who basically give similar, not necessarily the same, but similar-ish ideas. The cover of some sort of intellectual this.
Fine, I get it.
Yeah.
Should we just do like a couple more and then?
Let's do a couple more. I
Yeah,
unfortunately I have a call in a few minutes, which I need to
sure,
kind
sure.
of get on. Yeah.
Sure, no problem. Next one comes in from Saurabh Upadhyay. Hey, Saurabh. He says, just joined the chat. Where is Cyrus? And so that's first question, first part of his question. So,
Unfortunately, Cyrus has left
yeah,
the chat room.
yeah, Cyrus had a shoot, guys, so he had to go for that. He joined us in the beginning of the episode. So if you want, you can go back and start this episode from the beginning as well. And you can, Cyrus will be there and he'll explain why he had to leave. And the second part of Saurabh's question is, Amit, being a tech geek, what kind of tech products do you own? Especially your laptop and phone. Phone, you've already said you own a OnePlus Note. You
I
said
own a OnePlus Nord.
Nord, yeah.
I own a Microsoft Surface laptop, but I do most of my work on a desktop. I use an assembled desktop. I have a really high-end assembled desktop which I got made for the house. It
Okay.
is an i7 with 16 GB of RAM. It's
Wow.
got a video card into it. I have a 28-inch monitor. I have a 720p Logitech webcam on it. So yeah, I mean, like it's a desktop. I like working on desktop. I like a big screen.
Okay, nice. I
Yeah.
I have an MSI laptop which I love, which is 15.6-inch MSI gaming laptop, and this also has like Core i7 and all like a very good 16 GB RAM and all that stuff. So yeah, pretty happy, pretty good. But
Yeah.
again, like I like you, I'm also very opposed to buying Apple products because again, like I
I
just
bought
told,
one. I have an iPad.
you have an iPad?
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't mention it because one of the things that irritates me the most in life. Yeah, no, I can't believe I bought this thing. I bought it about a month ago. I've used it 3 times.
Oh really? Like
Yeah.
okay, okay.
So we're getting our office redone right at this point in time. So I'm like at the office and I'm like I have the iPad with me and I'm telling the interior guy that, hey, I can open the plan on my iPad. Let's watch it over there so that at least we can see it, right? I'm like, because at least this way I'll use it. There's a use for it. Otherwise, what the hell do I do with it?
Yeah.
It's a pointless piece of crap. It's for kids.
Okay. Okay, let's do just one last, I guess.
Sure.
This one comes in from Abhishek Chandrasekhar. It's quite interesting. He says, do you guys have any plans to do a podcast about mathematics or the pure sciences? That is, then you can invite physicists and all that.
Stay tuned. There's a whole bunch of new stuff coming. There's a whole bunch of new stuff coming. Somebody was asking about long form fiction. There's stuff coming in long form fiction. There's stuff coming in a documentary style. There is a lot of stuff coming from conversational perspectives. There's a lot of narrative stuff coming in the nonfiction space. There's a whole lot of stuff coming from IVM in the next few months.
Yep. Okay, so absolute final. This is an NBA question that you will love, Amit.
Okay.
Again from Saurabh Upadhyay. Saurabh, thanks for these awesome questions, man. He says, as an NBA GSW fan, I don't know what is GSW.
Golden State Warriors.
Okay, cool. As an NBA GSW fan, who do you think is the team that has perfect balance of experience and youth?
That is interesting because most of the teams are either a little older or a little younger. Oh wow, that really is an interesting question. Like the Nets have got like 3 people with like 8-10 years experience. LeBron's on the Lakers. Sixers are all young. Celtics suck. Utah's young. Well, Utah's got some. Actually, I guess the answer is the Phoenix Suns
The Phoenix Suns.
with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. Yeah, I think the answer is the Phoenix Suns. Dario Saric is over there, so it's a nice mix of people throughout the ages. Wow, that's a tough question. That's an interesting question.
So,
Thanks,
but
man.
this is for the current. This is currently you're saying.
Current
right?
year, of course. Yeah.
If you go back in all time, who would you like the best team that ever was?
For best team that ever was, that's an interesting question. I think the answer to that's probably 2017 Warriors, or 90.
Michael Jordan
I'll
was in
say
the
the-
Wizards, right?
No, Bulls.
Bulls.
He played for the Wizards also, but he was with Bulls.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess 97 Bulls.
Okay.
Or I'm gonna say 97 Bulls. The first Utah year.
Okay.
Would probably be the best.
All right.
But
cool. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Please like the
so
stream,
everybody, and I hope that you all enjoyed without Cyrus. Cyrus without Cyrus.
Yeah. This won't happen often. We'll try to avoid it as much as we can, but sometimes Cyrus just has shoots, and we both are Vela, so we have to do this. Thank you so much for joining us. Please do like the stream. Please comment anything you like to comment. Please, if you can, post AMA questions in the comments. We will find them. We will read them out in later episodes. Don't worry about that. And please do listen to us on. If you by chance missed this live stream here, you can listen to us on the podcasting apps like the IVM Podcast website and app, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, what have you. And please review us on Google and Apple Podcasts. That means so much. Thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely week ahead. See you.
Thank you.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter, on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Feeling overwhelmed, anxious, struggling with too many obstacles, don't know where your life is headed? Well, if you are dealing with one or all of these, tune into the Positively Unlimited podcast, because in each episode, I share a life lesson, a life hack, a pro tip that can help you get your life back on track. All episodes are available on the IBM website, IBM Podcast app, or wherever it is that you get your podcast from.
Want to learn something new and have a few minutes to spare? Well, then go for the Traveling Professor's Diary, where I, Siddharth Deshmukh, the Traveling Professor, will help you glean from all the insights that I've gained from wherever I've traveled, learned, taught, and repeated. Join me every Tuesday and Thursday on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get your podcasts from.